Good afternoon, world. It is a couple minutes past noon, and that's like twice in a row. We've been 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
We don't like to do that and leave you hanging. But either way, here we are, happy to be here, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State, and we are with grit and good news. And today is September 2nd, 2025, episode number 87, creeping up on 100. Um, we're at our downtown studio here in Waxahachie in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse, and I am your co-host, Jeff Lynch. Our man Sam is ably and capably at the board, and to my right,
There it is.
wearing something I call that olive drab. He's got a little
Yeah, I don't.
olive drab on
Yeah.
with the Amen corner. Our man
Amen corner.
Scott Brooks,
Thank you,
and
bud.
just before we get to our number 87, so we're turning our calendar today again on the 100-year calendar. And now when we put September under 2025, we find that we share a calendar in September with December. Every month of
December and
every year.
September are the same.
And
Yep.
always right now, 2003, 2025, 1947, and 1969 all share the same deal. And I'll tell you the commonality I see. 47 come out of tumultuous time,
Yeah.
69 in the middle of tumult,
Yeah.
2003 we're coming off of
9/11.
9/11
Yeah.
in 2025. It's been kind of a rocking year.
No
So
doubt.
there you go.
For sure. Sammy, what do you got? Number 87.
Number 87. It's a good one today. A lot of great players. Our number episode that correlates with the best U.S. Sports players that wore the
I
same
get to
number.
say one every time before you read. The only one I remember more because Kelsey's number 87. He's
I didn't put him on here.
Dave Casper.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
one of them.
All right.
Tight end Raiders.
Yes.
I'll start with our boy Gronk. One
Yeah.
of probably my best tight end ever. Just my era.
Yeah.
Gronkowski,
Yeah.
great dude.
And so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Dwight Clark, 49ers wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Dave
Told
catch.
them responsible for the catch.
The
The
catch.
catch.
That's what it
The
said. Yep.
catch.
Dave
Hey, Terry,
Casper.
welcome, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry. Dave Casper, tight end Raiders. Sidney Rice, wide receiver. I didn't get his team. I think it was 49ers, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
could
Is that Simeon?
No,
Simeon.
it's Sidney Rice.
I don't remember. I remember a Simeon.
I remember Simeon.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Muhsin Muhammad, Panthers wide receiver.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the lower
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of players. And then Jordan Reed, he's playing right now for the
Okay.
Washington. He's a tight end.
And did you leave off Kelsey on purpose?
He wasn't on there. I mean, I asked ChatGPT when I do this because it's right.
What about defensive
yes.
linemen?
That's
No,
not a common number. Though.
87 is a really
88? Okay. We'll have
88.
some. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean 80. There's some, but that's a good point. 80s aren't really that common on the offense or defensive lines anymore.
No.
Um,
And then we got one more.
yeah, in hockey,
NHL, Sidney Crosby.
Sid the Kid.
You know what?
the GOAT.
I should have worn a jersey today.
Yeah, Sid the Kid. Well, thank you, Sam. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank y'all for being here. Tuesday, September the 2nd. It'll be November before we know it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how time is flying. And it's a beautiful day outside. It was a little dicey in parts over the weekend, but we have cooler weather here in North Texas, so we're grateful for that. And it won't be long before we see football games in places like the North. Ohio State and Texas were playing the other day, and it was beautiful. People in shorts. Give it 8 weeks, those people won't be wearing shorts. They'll be wearing coats, and it'll be cold. But thank you for being here. We do this show every Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 1 Texas time, which is Central Time, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Just two what we like to believe are three good guys who care about our communities and our country, and just like to talk about what's going on out there. We start normally with some updates. Terry says, "Oh, I want to say thanks for the birthday wishes." There's 59. I had you pegged as 56 or 57. Well, you don't look a day over 56. Let's put it that way. And I know you guys lost a cat recently, so wanted to say sorry to hear about that for sure. On our updates, so we got the Cowboys.
Yeah.
2 days and ticking.
Tell me if I remember this right. We didn't talk about the Micah on Thursday because it broke in the late afternoon, right?
Yeah, we did. It did. As a matter of fact,
So we haven't talked about that.
We haven't talked about Micah Parsons being traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. What say you guys?
I don't understand it, to be honest, when you have a player like that. And I don't know everything that went on. The agent could be doing some stuff, but just pay Micah. He's the best defensive player in the league.
Well, he took a 188 million 4-year deal,
So that's
120 million guaranteed.
so that's 47 mil a year. We did the
Yeah.
math in your
Yes,
office.
we did. So,
But I heard that they haven't really done that math all the way right because 4 years starts, they still pay him on the 5th year deal that he's on right now for 24.
mhm,
So if you take the 24 and average it in with those other 4 years,
over,
because essentially it is a 5 year
yeah, so you had to make
contract.
that 5
So
years.
so
So it
it's
lowers it.
42.
Yeah.
Now, remember this. Hart will also remember, I'm hearing that Dak and Diggs have said, you know what? They think it had gotten real personal. It was personal between the two of them. And you know how these players always say, you know what? It's just, I got traded. It's business.
Yeah.
The owner says it's business. It was personal,
Yeah.
and that's bad. And let's remember how Micah really did. So now he's getting 42, and Jerry had originally said 40. Wisconsin, high state tax rate. Boom.
Yeah.
Now, Jerry and Micah had put that deal together in March. The agent got pissy about Micah not wanting him, forcing himself to be back in it.
Hmm.
That agent takes 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take another 10% off of 42
Yeah.
and you take your taxes off. He has taken a loss in signing that. And you know why? But hurt pride.
Yeah. Well, he's taking a loss compared to what he would have gotten
That's
had
what
he
I'm
signed
saying.
here. Yeah, the thing about Parsons, I I I get players and I get agents. I think I do. I don't get an agent who wants to do anything but I don't get an agent. I don't care for an agent that's all about the agent, about himself.
Right.
And in this case, it appears to me, although I don't know any of the facts, it appears to me from a distance that this agent decided he would go in and try to mess with Jerry Jones. Now, I could see where, I would want to do that, but Jerry Jones owns the most valuable franchise in the world, and he's proven that he in some ways like Trump, he's going to do it his way. And you got to know that as an agent. Now, where I start to think this trade might be a good one is the way Parsons handled it in the waning days of this deal, like laying on the medical table, not wearing his jacket. I mean, not wearing
Not
his,
wearing
wearing
his jersey.
his jersey. I just started feeling like Micah, something's amiss here. So we'll see. What I don't really like. I don't know how the others feel about this, but I don't. You guys and people watching, I don't know. Jerry Jones said we made this deal because it makes the Cowboys better. And I said to Sammy, I think I said to Sammy, I said, well, then why didn't you make it last year? If trading Parsons for a better player or a player you think is going to make the team better, then why didn't you do it last year? So all that said, I believe he's just using that as a way to make himself feel better without realizing that the rest of us know that he's just blabbing away.
He is. He
He,
wasn't.
he
He wasn't supposed to be traded.
yeah,
No,
and
no.
so
Dak was just on a in a conference the other day that he said, "I'll tell you this. I did not think he was going to get traded."
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, I don't know anybody that thought he would be traded. Terry says, well, Parsons will be able to adapt to the cold. Yeah, I know. That's the whole point. Again, what, two months
With
from
the
now,
bad back. Oh,
2 months from now, we're going to be talking about those cold weather games, and we're going to see those games up there where it is bitter. Uh, Here's the thing, too, about contracts in any NFL sport. I believe it's the tax code that says to professional athletes like those in the NFL that the place in which your game is played is the tax under which that game day pay will be
I
applied.
just learned that yesterday
Yeah.
from Rita Sun. Yeah.
So, if you're a player, you hope you play in Tennessee. If you're not a player in one of the no state in
Yeah.
state taxes like Texas,
Texas,
Tennessee, Florida, and I believe,
Nevada.
yeah, there's an out west state. So, you want to play the Raiders, you want to play
Yeah.
the Dolphins and the Jags and the Cowboys and the Titans. Otherwise, you're gonna be taxed at high levels. Imagine being a player in New York. or the Cowboys having to go play in New York. They're going to get taxed at New York tax rates. It's ridiculous, really. So there you have it. I think that, I mean, I'm excited about the Cowboys. I do think the Cowboys have a chance to win
Me too. I mean,
Saturday. I mean,
we
Thursday
still
night.
have good edges. Kenny Clark is a great dude, great
Yeah.
player. He can stop the run.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
One other thing. Do you hear what number he's taken in Green Bay?
Yeah, number one.
Number one.
Yeah. Which says to me that I didn't look this up. Maybe I should have, but the number 11 is either retired by a player that we don't know about. Because I don't know what player would have worn number
Well,
11.
when he came here, somebody was wearing 11, so he couldn't. Or
Yeah. But
he
that may
he
be the
he he,
example
he
too. That may be
no,
the case.
somebody was wearing one, and so he took 11.
Well, 11 is like 18 at LSU. 11 is at Penn State. It's is it LeVar Avar? I forget his last name, Washington, maybe years ago, stud linebacker, went to the Redskins. He started the tradition of their premier linebacker wearing number 11. So that's why the past several premier linebackers at
Mm-hmm.
Penn State wear number
Mm-hmm.
11. So I thought he would keep number 11 for that purpose, which 18 is a number at LSU, much the same way. So whoever on Penn State is wearing number 11 and
Right.
whoever on LSU is wearing number 18, there's something special about them. Which their quarterback this year at LSU changed from number 13 to number 18 this year. So
Yeah. Well, I did a little research on number. Well, first of all, I didn't like it when I heard that because to me,
yeah,
it's all about me.
yeah,
I'm number one, and
yeah.
I looked at the Joe Burrows, a few other. It's a lot of highly paid guys, and but I thought I
Joe
read
Burrow, he wears
what
nine.
that Dak was going to wear one this year. Can you confirm that?
I didn't hear anything about that. No.
Uh,
I,
so anyway, when you go to Green Bay and you're the outsider and you take one,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
he
it's a
better
weird
play
number.
good.
It's a weird number, Terry. I agree. I think the Cowboys have a chance to surprise some people, and in a way, maybe this is the equivalent. This all happening is the equivalent of a team or like a team playing under the radar. And the Cowboys
Mm.
are never under the radar, but when it comes to their talent, I would assume that most people now think the Cowboys are a worse team, and so maybe that will play to the Cowboys' favor. But we'll see come Thursday night.
And
Going to
we're
be
still
good.
America's team, and we still got a ton of night games this year.
Well, we've got some
And
real talent
and
as well.
the one other thing I read from inside the locker room saying Micah was well respected, not well
Like,
liked.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the only thing I agree with Jerry on is that you got to get rid of what you perceive to be a cancer, no matter what
Mm.
level. Look at Aaron Rodgers. I think the Green Bay Packers put up with him for so long because he continued to produce. He's gone to one other team. He was definitely a cancer on the Jets. Uh, and we'll see what he proves to be on the Steelers. But cancer doesn't matter your talent. If you're a cancer, you're a cancer. You got to be purged. So we'll see. Then we got results of this past Saturday, which are painful. I must admit, as a Bama fan and big time follower, I just don't get it. So we'll see. We just looked awful, but it was good to have the NCAA back and to see some games and all day long. And then Sunday night we had Notre Dame and Miami, which was a very good football game. Those teams will be there. Notre Dame will be back.
And Miami will stay there.
No, yeah, Notre Dame will be, uh, I think, a playoff team, frankly.
Yeah.
And then last night, we had the long-awaited, long-anticipated return. Well, not a return of Bill Belichick to coaching ranks because college ranks because he's never coached a college team, but to the coaching ranks. The man considered to be one of the, if not the greatest coach ever, got his butt whooped last night, and it wasn't even funny. It started like the Bama game where Bama marched down the field and scored 7 points,
Yeah.
and it was like this is going to be a rout. Last night I felt the same way, and then TCU. I'm telling you, TCU's got some players now. We'll see. We'll see.
Did
Uh,
you hear how many new players he has on his?
70.
Can you believe that?
70. So you got to give him a little bit of a grace. And he's not a trash talker. I mean, Bill Belichick, I don't particularly care for him, but what I will say is that he stood there on the sideline. He took it. He did his typical post game, press conference and said, We got outcoached and outplayed. Period.
But he
He's
didn't show any emotion though.
he never does.
I just don't like that.
He
Same with
never. I mean,
Kalen.
I think he probably shows that we don't see it, but
Yeah.
um, that's just the way they knew what they were getting.
Yeah.
That's the way he's been for 40 years.
Is every pretty 24-year-old girl in love with Belichick, or just the one that he's
Just that
engaged
one,
to?
Probably just the
just that
one.
one. So I don't know, but I am pumped that it's all here. And then a couple of things we've got. I was telling Jeff in our prep that just this morning, two stories came out. This is relative or regarding rogue judges in America. Those judges who are in parts of the country that don't impact people like us here in Texas or other places. Two rulings today that are disturbing to me. One is that a woman who admitted to saying she was going to assassinate Trump twice and has been in jail ever since was released by a judge, that same judge who has caused problems for Trump in the past. She was released. She got to go to a psychiatric unit and all that. But still, if she threatened to assassinate the president, whether it's Biden or Trump, I don't care. And one of your conditions for release is that you go to a psych center, you shouldn't be released, in my opinion. And then the other judge is one who, this is a bigger issue for me anyway, that a judge ruled that what Trump did and Hegseth did with National Guard in Los Angeles about a month ago, where sent them in there to get things straight, was illegal. Is that somebody calling?
Somebody's calling on the Instagram phone.
Oh, so we had a judge that now has said that what Trump did in Los Angeles is illegal, and presumably that means what Trump is doing in Washington D.C. will likely be doing in Chicago and other places is illegal. I don't get. I mean, uh, the inner workings of our country are working against our country, and I don't understand. I don't understand the judge that says what getting crime under control in these cities is illegal. I don't understand it. Maybe that's an oversimplification, but I just don't understand it. So
Well,
there's that going on.
it's just how political the
It
judiciary
has
has
become.
become,
It
and
has.
we don't elect. Maybe some areas do. Most of them, you don't elect a judge by Republican or Democrat. You
Right.
just elect a. But they are one or the other,
Well,
and
this judge, both these judges, I think, are appointed Biden appointees. So
mhm,
there are judges at federal level that are
yeah.
appointed and they're lifelong jobs. So, what are these people? I mean, what are the people in Washington and in Chicago and other places that Trump wants to go help take care of? What are they supposed to do? What about the citizens? What about the people who say, "Thank goodness that this is happening," and yet the governor of Minnesota, no, I'm sorry, the governor of Illinois said to Trump, "We are going to, you come here, you're going to find resistance. You come here to help us, and we're going to resist you." How about that as a statement? How about that as a public servant making a claim? I just don't quite understand it. So those two things are happening as we speak. So more to come on that. All right, let's talk more about the Cowboys. I don't want to talk about it from a sports point of view. I do want to talk about it from really trying to understand the Dallas Cowboys. It's like trying to understand Donald Trump. For those that don't take the time to understand him, they will always dislike him. For people that don't try to understand the Dallas Cowboys and the way that they operate, will always be frustrated with them. And even if you do understand how they operate, you still will be frustrated with them. So here we are. We got the world's most expensive, valued franchise. The star has been a part of Americana forever, at least from the 60s. Uh,
There's a
and
Netflix show about Jerry and about the cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders have been on it for 2 or 3 years. There's no other team that has that.
no, there's not. And when AT&T Stadium was about to open, uh, and Sammy won't remember it because Sammy was only about 8, something like that. But we took a tour. Me and Maury came down. We took a tour of AT&T Stadium.
Was I with you?
I think so.
Oh.
And we went out on the field. We did the tours of the locker rooms. Dallas Cowboys have an incredible locker room just for the cheerleaders.
And I bet it's been upped since then. I mean, that was in 2009.
That was in 2009 when, yeah, 2009, 2010, I think, when the
Yeah.
AT&T opened. So it's an institution, much like any other famous institution in America. And yet it's right now it's driving people crazy. Jerry Jones is driving people crazy. And so why does Jerry do that? Why does we've talked often, everybody does, talks about why would you get in the way? It's like what we're talking about in the country. Why would anyone resist something that's better for them? Why if you say here's a drug that's going to help you, I don't want to take it. I mean,
I
there may
missed
be
something blowing my nose. What is he resisting?
he's resisting hiring or creating a
Oh,
structure through which, by which, and because of which he could win, hopefully win a Super
oh,
Bowl.
like being the only guy that doesn't have a general manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why the psyche here is that you've got a guy now, he's over 80. I don't know if he's 85 or what he is, but he's a billionaire. He loves the limelight. He loves power and control. He loves fame. He loves it all, it seems.
He loves women besides his
He
wife.
loves he loves all of what he's got, and yet he does the very thing that gets what he's got, taking him to a notch higher and enjoying even more all of what he's got. Jerry Jones, by hiring a general manager, it can be set up such that he doesn't have to be off camera. He doesn't have to be a recluse. He doesn't have to. Other owners, there are some that you don't even know who they are. Like if I said to you guys, who's the owner of the New Orleans Saints? Don't know.
I have no idea. We don't have
May
a
know their name.
GM.
Huh?
We don't have a GM.
No, that's the whole point. Jerry is the GM.
That's
Yeah.
been like an
Okay. Yeah.
issue forever that
Yeah.
people have
And so
criticized.
if you say okay, well, what about who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars? Some people may know who that is because they've been so bad and they've had other stupid
Hmm.
decisions. Uh, and we may know who owns the Raiders because of the Davis family and the
Yeah.
Oakland. But who owns the Chargers? Who owns the Titans? We don't know who these
I
owners are.
I know who owns the KC Chiefs,
Yeah, the Hunts.
and I know who owns the Green Bay Packers,
Well,
I don't.
it's owned by their fan
and
base,
I
right?
know who owns the Chicago Cubs,
Yeah, but
the Hallis family, and I know
you mean
who
the Bears?
I mean the Bears,
Yeah.
and I know who owns the Steelers family.
Okay, so maybe 5 or 6 out of
Yeah,
30.
right.
It's even worse in other sports.
Oh yeah.
Who owns New Orleans Pelicans? Who owns the who now
Warriors, the
who owns Charlotte?
Rockets.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So
Yeah.
my point is, these owners. If I were an owner, I would want the best. I would want a dynasty.
Yeah.
All right. If that means I had to have 18 GMs and whatever, then that's what we're going to have as
Yeah.
long as I can remain profitable. Which obviously it's hard to not be profitable when you own a sports team. So why does Jerry Jones, why is he so fixated on doing the very thing that deprives him of what he wants most?
You want an answer?
I do.
When he was in Arkansas recently, maybe last year for a game of the Razorbacks,
Yeah.
and he went to Fayetteville,
Yeah.
and he drove around, and um, he was going down memory lane of when he grew up and how poor he was,
Hmm.
and then he works his way into getting onto the Arkansas Razorbacks football team as an underweight lineman
Yeah.
and wins the national championship along with Jimmy Johnson
Right.
in '64.
Right.
And then he's a wildcatter in the oil business. And wildcatter is such a great name because it's such a scatter shoot and it's kind of it is rolling the dice and you hit it or miss it, but you've invested your money
Right.
and he hits it and he hits it and he hits it enough times that he pulls together enough money that he can buy the Cowboys. And he came in and he was such a buffoon. He made all of the dumb statements. He talked about Troy Aikman looking good in the locker room, and he talked about his cheerleaders being the pick of the litter, and he just came in like an absolute rube,
Right.
but he didn't care. And he got Jimmy, and Jimmy hit the gold mine with the Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah.
Got all those players. Troy Aikman played on a 1-15 team.
Yeah, he did.
He had to beat out Steve Walsh
Yeah.
for the quarterback position, who
Yeah.
was from Miami,
That's right.
national champion. He,
Uh-huh.
he he ends up prevailing, and he gets so they get a couple rings. Jerry gets a little little liquored after a Super Bowl. He makes this blabbermouth statements about 500 coaches could do what Jimmy did, and then he lets them go. And so he just keeps on doing it. I'm doing it my way. I'm going to be a GM. I'm going to prove that it wasn't Jimmy that did it. Well, you know what? We look back and we say, I kind of think it was
Well,
Jimmy.
that's another
He hires
example.
Barry Switzer off the couch. Barry wins another Super Bowl
Yeah.
2 years later. And so kind of proving you can take a retired guy off of his couch in Norman. And so he says, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah, I mean, I get it if that was 5 or 6 or 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
that was 30 years
Oh, I
ago.
know, I
And
know. I'm not defending
no, I
him.
know you're not, but it's part of the part. I think you're right. It's part of the psyche that says, "Uh, I'm doing it my way. It's led to great success. It just deprives what it seems to me, who am I to say, but it seems to me that Jerry Jones doesn't appreciate how much his administration or staffing, his players, the fan base, how much they want a Super Bowl. And so he's not, if he wants to deprive himself of something because he's happy with what he's got, so be it. But he's depriving the very people that support him to have what he has, and doesn't seem to care. And so it just it's almost amazing. He's an anomaly. No doubt he's an anomaly. Again, we don't have if you look at Mark Davis, who inherited the team from his daddy,
Mm-hmm.
the Raiders haven't been very good forever.
True.
And so you know what he's known for? He's known one for being a goofy Davis, and number two his haircut. But you don't see him on TV all the time. You don't see him. He has GMs, and he fires them every other year. But we could go through the whole list of owners, and there's not another one that does things the way Jerry Jones does in the NFL. And I would argue in any other professional sport, they just don't do what he does. And so a good question would be, okay, so who won the NHL last year? The Stanley Cup was the
Florida
Panthers, yeah.
Panthers.
Florida Panthers. I am assuming they got a structure where they have a GM. I know they do,
Mm.
and an excellent, aggressive, has some authority in the organization coach,
Right.
right? So then we get to baseball. Last year, who I don't remember who won the World Series. Uh,
Dodgers? Was it
Think
the
so.
Dodgers?
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Okay, Dodgers have a GM. Rangers, when they won, have a GM, have a strong-minded coach, respected coach. And then NFL, who won
Eagles.
the Eagles, same thing. They got now. Jeff Lurie, who's the owner of the Eagles, sits in that box and he's seen a lot, and he's on camera and has a lot to say. But he lets his GM, his football people, actually do what Jerry Jones thinks he, as the football people, do.
Yeah.
And so, and then in what was that? Did I cover all the sport? NBA with Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City is known for having a great
Yeah.
GM, Sam Presti.
Hmm.
Uh, and who owns them?
No
Either of you
idea.
guys know? We don't know who owns the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 3 hours away. They won the NBA championship. We don't need to know, but we know everybody knows who owns the Cowboys. So I would just say the Cowboys, at some point, the odds are, you got to believe that the odds are that we're going to break through. We may not win the Super Bowl, but we'll win a conference championship.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to win what, 2 playoff games?
Might be happening with one.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think,
Do you think let's talk about Stephen Jones.
yeah. I mean, Stephen Jones, and what's his other son's
I
name?
didn't even know he had
Jerry
some.
Jr.
Okay. Yeah. Where are they? Hey, Dad, what about us? Let us have more
Stephen's
say.
become more visible in the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
But he he doesn't want to rock the boat. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He's the top dog to the fortune.
And you wonder, will Stephen Jones do it the way his daddy did it?
Probably.
I don't. I think if Stephen took the team, he'd get a GM.
Well, either that or he would say that he's got more knowledge than his daddy and is really a GM. Um, maybe he considers himself the de facto uh, GM as it is now, without the title. Maybe he sees himself as having a say in all this to the level of a GM. But I would say, well, then you're not doing a very good job.
He's credited widely with talking Jerry out of Johnny Manziel, and instead taking one of the great offensive linemen that we had for
Martin
Is it Zach?
Frederick.
It
Yeah,
might be Zach Martin. Should
yeah
have taken Johnny
Tyrone.
Football though, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think it's a great study. To me, it's a great study in organizational uh, structure and mindset and how you go about achieving success.
And how to work out for Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, look what it did for Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy's now an icon, right?
He is.
He is an icon, and when you look at Jerry Jones, you might say, well, Jerry Jones is an icon. All you got to do is put his face up, and we know who it is, right? Uh, and then you put Jimmy Johnson up, we know who his face, and then he's the head coach, the on TV. Well, he was the head coach of the Cowboys when they won the Super Bowl.
oh,
He's on NFL Today. Always sits on
He's
the
on the
far
far
oh
right
right,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
with the
white
yeah.
perfect
hair.
hairdo
Harry, yeah, okay.
and
He was
the
the Cowboys.
perfect the
Yeah,
tie and the pocket square
yeah, he's
I
all
was
sharp.
match just the sharp.
I was thinking of the coach that coached Tony Romo in my years.
No,
Jason
that was
Garrett.
Jason
I
Garrett.
was thinking of
No,
Jason
no,
Garrett.
no.
Jason Garrett.
Jimmy Johnson is famous. I would say they both are iconic in a sense. One of them is iconic for what I think are the wrong reasons, and Jimmy Johnson's iconic for the right reasons. But look what it did for his career. I mean, he's a
Tremendous.
household name.
And how easy is his life as a Sunday icon?
Yeah,
Yeah, you do prep work, but he still lives in Miami.
yeah.
You know the name of his boat and bar that they have the same name.
I used to, but I don't. It doesn't come.
This is so great.
What is it?
3 rings.
Yeah,
He had two with the Cowboys and one with Miami Hurricanes.
yes. And he was at the Miami game the other night on the sideline.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So there you have it. Our thoughts on the Cowboys and Jerry Jones nuance. It's pretty interesting stuff. Was a shooting last week in Minneapolis. Uh, a school, Catholic school. I don't know if it was the first day of school or it was one of the first 3 or 4 days of school for these kids. And uh, a young man who wanted to be a
I
woman,
think he was 23.
loaded with weapons, ended up shooting through windows, stained glass windows. He couldn't get into the school, so he shot through windows at prayer time and killed two precious children, I think 8 and 10, something like that, and injured a bunch more. Uh, so what happens when these things occur, which they happen far too often, one is far too often, is that both sides of the aisle react. Politicians react, and we all react one way or the other. You and I and Sammy and people watching react and say, "How awful!" Now we're in the state of Texas, so we react and we say, "How awful! How do people like this exist? How do they? How are the signs overlooked? How does a parent overlook the signs of mental illness? And so on and so forth. And in some cases, this mother of this young man had signed over in 2017, I think it was, had signed the documents for the young man to change his name from Robert to Robin.
Correct.
So there was a facilitation on behalf of the parent, the mother in this case, to aid the young man's mental illness, and is the way I see it. So, and I'm sure there are lots of other things that mom saw that we never saw until we now know about him. But the so we respond and we say, God awful, we want to pray. We do. That's prayer. And our content this week has to do with why prayers is why we go there. We're not saying that prayer we pray, please stop this from happening and that none don't happen anymore. That won't happen. They will happen more. So it won't stop. But imagine life without prayer. And so, but the political response is, I just ask you, the left says what? When these things happen, the left automatically goes to what issue?
Gun control.
Gun control.
Yeah.
You know, that gun control, it's complicated deal, but I can tell you this. Anybody that ever thinks we would get to a country with no guns is naive.
Beyond naive.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't can't turn back the hands of time. There's just too many of them out there. Um, the expression "guns don't kill people, people kill people"
Right.
is so accurate, and um, I'm scattersheet in different directions together. The whole thing about the um, AK-47 type guns, the rapid fire guns, that seems to be the number one weapon of choice in mass shootings. But we have plenty of other types of violence, and
Yeah.
there's grenades, there's arson, there's stabbings. Um, so it, it seems overly simplistic, but I gotta tell you, we got to find a way to get hate out. And you can be mentally ill and not be full of hate, or
Right.
you can be here. There's so many. Don't you just love seeing a mentally challenged uh, youth or adult who you meet sacking groceries
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and they're just the happiest person you ever met because they don't have a care in the world and nobody taught them anything about hate. And
Yeah.
and so, our mass shootings when it comes to schools are so often with the youth and so often um
It's almost always a byproduct of mental illness.
yeah,
And what's somewhat alarming, I've seen over the weekend lots of debates and discussions about, well, the most recent shootings have come from the trans community, and that is true. They have, but but uh, but there have been a lot of shootings where it hasn't been a
exactly,
trans.
exactly.
It's always been though. You can't go in. You could be full of rage, which most of them are. You could be the question would be, can you be a normal person, lose it, have rage, uncontrollable rage, and commit mass murder and still and be known and somebody be able to say that you don't have mental illness. If you do the act, regardless of what
Right.
created it, you have a mental illness. Fair to say? So the left says, well, go back to the right real quick. The right says we need to pray. The churches hold prayers. This could be all the way from a mass shooting to 9/11 to uh, war, whatever the calamity. The right usually says we need to pray. We need to invoke God. We need to engage God in this. The left says we need to when it's mass shootings, we need to, it's about the gun. We got to get rid of the gun. Well, and I know that this example has been talked about endless times, but we just had yesterday in Pennsylvania at a Labor Day parade. There was no one died, but there was a man who drove a car through the parade and injured a bunch of people.
That's another good way to do it.
And
I
and,
forgot
and
about
it
that.
wasn't that long ago, within the last 4 years, where I believe it was in Illinois or some Midwestern state where a man did another parade. It was cold, so I think it may have been Thanksgiving Day parade, or it was cold.
It wasn't.
Drove a truck through the parade and killed several people.
I think that was Was that Mardi Gras or
N-
in New
uh,
Orleans?
well, that was
There
on New
was that
Year's
too.
Eve.
Yeah.
And there were
Okay.
a couple big ones
On
in
New Year's,
Europe,
well,
remember?
yeah, on New Year's Eve when the game had to be
Yeah.
postponed to the next day.
Yeah.
The guy drove down Bourbon Street and killed a bunch of people. I didn't hear anybody on the left run to the camera and say, "We got to outlaw
Cars.
cars." And so it's or knives. We've heard more and more. Remember, we just talked about it last week about that young man walking the streets in his neighborhood in Frisco last week and got stabbed in the forearm. We don't have anybody saying we got to outlaw knives. We got, it's that old. It's funny, but it's true. The analogy that says, well, eh, those obesity is caused by forks because we got to outlaw. People are getting fat from eating food, so we got to outlaw forks. Well, it's the forks' fault.
How about how much road rage there is?
Yeah. Well, and so the issue for me is, when are we ever going to stop having the same stupid answers? It's that old thing that says, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got. That's the definition of psychosis. What and so why do we keep doing why do left people on the left, politicians on the left, get in front of a camera no sooner than the bodies have been put in the corners, gone to the corners building or whatever, is a politician saying, got outlaw guns. It just happened with Minnesota. Got outlaw guns. Got outlaw guns. And you're right. America,
And it's such a big hunting state.
yeah, well, yeah, up there for sure. I mean, look at Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke won't win a run if he runs for dog catcher. He won't win because he said in public on a
We're
debate
we're
stage,
taking your
we'll take
guns.
your AR-15s or AK-47s. And the other thing I want to say is that when you hear about these post-event discussions, you hear people say, or these politicians and even the talking heads on the television say, we got to get rid of semi-automatic or automatic weapons. They don't even know what they're talking about. They think the AR means assault rifle. It doesn't mean that. It stands for the guy. One of the words is I should have brought this with me, but I looked it up years ago. Those have to do with uh, terms, not terms of the people that are known for making the weapon or the bullets that are in them, but it
Mhm.
doesn't stand for assault rifle.
Plus, you can take rifles and put on what they call
Bump
a bump
stock.
stock
Yeah,
and turn any rifle into an automatic.
sure.
And so,
I just think we're
you can do it to pistols.
yeah, exactly. It's how the guy, remember the mass
People use
shooting?
switches all the time.
Well, remember the shooting in Vegas in
Yeah, yeah.
2018 or 19? Killed 68 people. He put a bump stock on his guns. So the whole point of the discussion is when are we going to have politicians? And maybe I'm just wasting my stinking breath, but when are we going to have politicians that say this is not how we respond? This is not. Mental illness is the key. This dude, we saw this kid in pictures that killed these young people, these children. First of all, he was quoted as saying he gets a thrill from thinking about murdering children. And that was in a manifesto. The dude wrote stuff that he could have kept it secret. You can't write that stuff and it not manifest in some part of your life. Where you and I, if we saw him, if Sammy was walking around with a writing down, I like to mutilate this, or I like to kill children, or I like to, blow up buildings, we're going to see some form of his behavior that's alarming, wouldn't you think? And so,
Yeah.
I mean, but you look at the picture of this kid, you automatically say mental illness.
And
You
did you
mental,
see what he wrote on his guns?
uh-uh.
Where's your God?
Yeah,
Somebody called Trump, all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff, just all
yeah.
over his guns.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say on this, and open it up for you guys, and we'll move on. But Rosie O'Donnell, and I don't know why any of us paying attention to what Rosie O'Donnell thinks, but the media does, because she's a Trump target, and because she left America, because Trump won. She now lives in Ireland. Well, she jumped on. She's just like others on the left. She jumped on her little TikTok the other day after this event and said, this guy was a MAGA dude. He was Republican. He was pro-Trump. Blah blah blah. And then 3 days later, she had to get back on and say, "I was wrong. I totally wrong." It was the opposite. But we're not sitting. This segment of our show is not to say, see, the left is producing these kinds of people. Mental illness is producing these kinds of people, and I think our country is conducive. The way the society operates is conducive to mental illness. It just is.
Yeah, and you can't put everybody who has a mental problem, force them into some sort of institution and keep them there forever. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's any place that people go get help for mental illness that quote unquote cure it. I mean, we're making a big circle around basically saying that everybody's got an opinion, but I'm not really sure that we can put a finger on a real answer.
Yeah.
And when you come back to prayer, I have a little different prayer opinion than most people, and I've got poems about them. I think they're going to be running in the Substack
Yeah.
this Saturday,
Friday.
Friday. But I don't pray for the living. I pray for the dead. I pray to the dead. I pray to the dead to intercede and to know I'm still thinking about them and keep in touch. But the bottom line is what we have to pray is in the beginning of the Lord's Prayer, thy will be done. We have to find a way.
Yeah.
You had a death recently.
Yeah.
You, you, you have to say, help me find ways to accept that and just know that's what happens. We have to accept what God allows to happen or makes happen. We're not sure how much
Yeah.
of that there is, but acceptance is the important part of prayer.
Yeah, I can't haven't experienced a very close, dear friend, brother, whatever you want to call it, passing away. I don't know how I could have gotten through these past few days without friends, my wife, namely, and prayer. I just don't. I don't know how I could do it. And so that's why I go to prayer. I just think our society is creating, allows for not mental illness to be limited and reduced, but actually to be magnified and grow because we accept and we allow, and everything we can imagine it happens. And we got people that once stood for things that would hopefully keep mental illness in check. That would be our religious folks, our even our politicians. But now some of our most whack people are in office. Call me crazy. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
Mm-mm.
All right. He said, before we get to our rhyme time and day in history, he said that we talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the show, but so Chicago, well, we know a judge has now said that the National Guard going into Los Angeles and helping keep crime under control was or is illegal. I think that'll be appealed and it'll be overturned. Uh, these judges are doing it just to cause Trump grief. But we know that Trump is wanting to go into, well, he's already in D.C. and he's wanting to go to Chicago. The Illinois governor and the mayor of Chicago have both said, "You come try to help us." And then and I think that's what Pritzker, the governor, actually said: "Assist or help us, you will find resistance."
How dumb is that?
That well, and it's accepted. It's accepted. Like you tell them. So if Waxahachie was ravaged, let's just say we were on fire, and the government, Trump said, we're sending every fire truck we can and billions of gallons of water, and we're going to save Waxahachie. And our mayor or our governor said, we don't need your help. We would go on the rampage at these people,
Are
but
they
yet
not in Chicago
are they not way?
going on a rampage?
There,
Well, they are, but it's not enough to say to the people
yeah,
that
there
oh
are people speaking up now,
yeah,
and
because the media, this is one good thing about the media. I think it's more local media than the national media, is going to into the neighborhoods and saying that your governor and your mayor are saying it's not that bad. They're walking around parks and saying, well, Trump says it's bad around here. You know, at 6 a.m. in the morning, the sun's out, it's beautiful, birds are singing. You know, where's all the nobody's saying that's where the crime is.
they show these pictures of joggers along Michigan Avenue in the
Yeah,
middle of the day, and it's like, um, there's hardly anybody out there jogging anymore because
yeah.
even in those nice places, the
People,
problems have got bad. There's an alderman there now who is coming out and saying, yes, we need it. To say we don't have a problem, well, then how can we had 52 separate shootings with 7 deaths last weekend
yeah,
in Chicago? But I
right.
tell you one thing, nobody likes to tell you you're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
People automatically get defensive. I'm not defending him for being defensive. I'm just saying
Yeah, that's a
that's
natural reaction.
that's how it is.
Are they saying that they don't need help or that they don't want the help?
Both. So they're saying they don't need the help by trying to couch the problem. Like I just said, one example is to only show parts where there are
Yeah.
no, or
Yeah.
days, times of days, or whatever. They're not going to what Fifth Ward or whatever, Ninth Ward or whatever they call it, and say, and showing just ravaged,
Yeah.
neighborhoods and such, and say we don't have a problem. See, but they'll never do that. But they do have a problem. Jeff just gave the results last week of seven. I think it was over the weekend, seven
Yeah.
people being killed,
52
and the
separate
mayor is
shootings.
saying we in Washington D.C. I don't know what day they're on now, but it's going on 2 weeks. They haven't had a murder. You would think the mayor of Chicago would say, "You can help me stop murders." Just like if the mayor of Waxahachie said, "You could help us put out these fires." Bring it, bring it.
So it's personal, it's
I'll always be
political.
the mayor of this dude. If he had any sense, he would say, oh, it's almost the Jerry Jones syndrome. He's resisting the very thing that would help him. Jerry Jones would go down as the greatest owner in the history of sports if he would do the right thing. The mayor in Chicago would be mayor forever if he would say, "Come and help me."
That's the town that's famous for mayor forever, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And look at the mayor in Washington D.C. He said, We're working with Trump, and you
Yeah.
watch. She'll, as long as she keeps doing that, she'll have an opportunity to stay the mayor there, unless she's termed out. I don't know if they have terms, but she's not resisting it. So it's infuriating. All right. Anything else on that, boys?
Oh yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. It's just a political thing. Just I don't want.
It's
If you think if it
anti-Trump,
was Biden
anti.
or
No, if it was Biden, they wouldn't resist it.
that's what I'm
No way.
saying. Yeah,
It's a Trump derangement thing. So as you get
it's
older,
just
Sammy, and
horrible.
grow, and everybody watching us, we can't be so concerned about our own image that we don't help those we're supposed to help. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
all right, time
Let's
for rhyme time.
let's
What you
talk
got?
about something fun. Did we start to talk about the Rotary flags last week
You did. You talked about it. Yep.
on the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I know. We switched and did the Off to Minnesota poem instead because it was
Yeah.
timely. So the flags are such a wonderful thing that the Rotary Club does.
Hmm.
When I look up my street and see 18 of them on my street, you go by St. Joseph Church and there's like over 50. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
$50 a flag? How does that church pay for it? Until I found out it's people that say, yeah,
Specifically for it.
I want a flag dedicated to my dead son, my dead father,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So, uh, I spoke a few times at Rotary clubs at lunchtime. Tried to sell a few books. Talk a little about self-publishing. Give them a few chuckles. Give them a little poetry. But I decided I better write a poem about them before I got there. So I read it to them. Rotary International. The Rotary Club has been around for quite a while, even before the days when phones had a dial. It's a humanitarian service organization, and the U.S. is not its only nation. A worldwide group always needs to recruit. Business and professional leaders comprise the Rotary Bunch. It meets weekly over a good lunch. They provide community service to promote integrity and understanding, while those folks are truly outstanding. Membership is by invitation only. Once you're a member, you'll never be lonely. Rotary Club is over 1.4 million strong. How could you possibly go wrong? Nobody's ever invited me to be a
Yeah.
member of it, but
I was a member a long time ago in Montgomery, Alabama, and I enjoyed it. I think the Rotary has gone through some significant changes here in recent months, but recent years. But it is a good. They do some good stuff.
yeah.
Seeing flags is always good, no matter where it is. All right, it is time for this day in history.
Oh, 7-3. When Rita added them up, I couldn't believe it wasn't worse. With the exception of this first one, I think every single question, I guessed every single one. I don't know how I
Is that
got in the
right?
Oh
ballpark.
geez.
Good luck to
If
you.
he guessed, I don't know what I'm
Good
gonna
luck
guess.
to you, boys. Here we
All
go.
right, let's go.
The United States Treasury Department was established. Think it through. Think it through.
Treasury,
Treasury.
I'm going to say 1934.
1927.
When was
Way
George Washington elected?
in
1788.
1785, 88.
88.
Yeah.
Um, even though we didn't have income tax there, we needed somebody to count the money. 1789
Oh
Wow.
my
I was
gosh.
doing it in accordance with
coming out of
FDR.
it. Yeah.
if I wouldn't have heard yours, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
So many hurricanes, so many volcanoes, so many tsunamis. I can't sort them out. Here we
Yeah.
go. A category 5 hurricane slammed into the Florida Keys, claiming more than 400 lives. It could be any number from 1788 to
That's a
today.
big, wide
N-
range. I'm going to say 1890.
1942.
1935. You
Yes.
snuck in on the
Barely.
backside, Sam. Nice.
Let's go.
Okay, this one we should all get,
Terry's close.
and
Terry got it.
I did get the bonus here.
What was the answer?
40.
35,
Oh,
Terry
35.
1935.
got it.
Yeah. A Japan formally surrendered aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay, ending World War II.
1945.
1946.
45.
Oh yeah.
You didn't want to copycat your dad, but you still got in the ballpark. Good job. Here we
Yep.
go. Alabama Governor George C. Wallace prevented the integration of Tuskegee High School by encircling the building with state troopers.
Yep.
State troopers.
19. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 1951.
No. 1978.
63. Split the difference on
Yeah,
you
we did.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George
Dang.
Wallace was a bad dude.
That's a fact. In what some regard as the birth of the internet, two connected computers at the University of California, Los Angeles passed test data through a 15-foot cable.
1979.
82.
69.
Oh, dang it.
2 and 4.
A
And we only
Swiss.
have one more.
Oh, we got 3. We got
Oh,
4 more.
okay.
A Swiss Air MD-11 jetliner crashed off the Nova Scotia. It should say coast off Nova Scotia, killing all 229 people abroad.
73.
80.
98.
Dang, I'm trying to catch it to where it's
I
not
know,
jumping far.
It's a big gap. Yeah.
On her 5th attempt, U.S. endurance swimmer Diana Nyad became the first person to swim to Cuba, from Florida to Cuba, without the help of a shark cage. That's how those,
Yeah.
What? That's like my
Um,
worst. That's my nightmare.
yeah.
Yeah.
98 was the last one. I would say 2007.
She did that in 2011.
13. Sammy's in the
Yeah,
ballpark.
Good.
A fire engulfed Brazil's 200-year-old National Museum in Rio de Janeiro as firefighters and museum workers raced to save historical relics.
Is this the last one?
One more.
2018.
I'm gonna go 2014.
18.
Booyah.
In closing with, a fire swept a vessel carrying recreational scuba divers. It was anchored near an island off the Southern California coast. The captain and the 4 crew members were able to escape flames, but 34 people were trapped below, died.
2019.
2022.
2019.
Yes.
Sammy
Damn
B.
well.
I
Ooh, I
caught
came
it.
back. Very
1,
good. All
2,
right, there
3.
you have it, folks. Thank you for being with us today. We'll be back on Thursday. We want to remind you that there's a whole lot more content that we produce and make available through Substack.com. Just go there and search for Grit and Good News, and you will find us, our logo, and hit subscribe. Pay $5 a month, and you get a boatload of content every Monday morning and every Friday morning sent directly to your mail inbox from us. So we hope that you will subscribe. We do have subscribers joining. We want more. We want them a lot more quicker, but we'll take the ones we get, almost one a day, it seems. More sometimes on certain days and less on others, but we're whatever it takes. We just like
We're
doing it.
trickling in.
Yeah. So, but again, thank you for being with us. I'll do it Tuesday. I will tell you that it's this Friday night, Sammy, Sonia, Kennedy, and I are going to see The Conjuring, which I ain't
Did you
scared.
choose Friday?
I did. I changed my
Oh,
mind.
okay.
But that's a new movie that comes out this freaking
That
weekend.
sounds spooky to
It
me.
is supposed to
I
be
don't
very
do
spooky.
spook.
Have a good day,
Very
Terry.
spooky. Yes. Have a great day, Terry.
See ya.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you on Thursday. Jeffrey.
Have a great day, and remember to try to put a smile on somebody's face today.
Thank you.